Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Chris back again with another weekly episode of Angler Talk. And just to get things rolling, man, the fishing is still hot and heavy. I'm watching reports every single day from Captain Eric Kerber slaying the mahi fishing up here in Jersey. Captain Jerry Pastorino still putting in the slugfest on the fluke fishing and everything that he targets. That's why he is the fishmonger. Johnny Bucktail's out there still killing it with the fluke fishing and the striper fishing. Yes, striper fishing in the dog days of summer. He's still getting it done, man. And this week I got a special guest. His name is Josh Fuld over at J&H Tackle in Long Island. And one of the cornerstones in the industry for sure, man. His father was one of the pioneers in bringing stuff over to this country that we love today. And check out Josh, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And here we are with Josh Fuld from J&H Tackle. How we going, bud?
Good. How are you?
I can't complain, man. It's winding down the days of summer, and we're starting to go into that fall transition. But, you know, the fishing is still good around here. So how's it going up there on Long Island?
It's going really well. Fluke fishing is hot, and bass is going to heat up, and everybody's just getting psyched up for blackfish season, which seems to be the trendy thing, the thing that everybody's sort of, just a super fan of. They wait all year for fall blackfishing.
Absolutely, man. And I'm one of those blackfish geeks, man. Blackfishing
Sure.
is kind of got like that cult following, you know what I'm saying? It's very, very addictive. And when you're out there in 7-degree weather trying to catch these fish, it's just one of those things where like people look at you like, are you nuts going out there in that cold of weather?
Yeah, but it's really fun. It's a good type of fishing. It's not all year round, so that's cool. You know, you wouldn't want it to be, 24/7. It's a very limited time frame, and it's challenging, right? It's not like fluke fishing and porgy fishing and that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more difficult than that, and takes a little bit of skill, which is cool.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. So you got a really awesome tackle shop out there in Long Island. Been around
Thank
for
you.
quite a few decades now. J&H Tackle, and if you just want to let the people know about the shop and what you got going on over there.
Sure, we've been doing this for over 30 years, and we're the largest tackle shop on Long Island, and we just try to sort of have like a pro environment. We don't want to make you better at fishing, have a better fishing experience, and just enjoy yourself more. You know, the industry can sort of be broken down into different kinds of groups of like your Walmart guys, your big box guys, and then your guys who are a bit more serious, a bit more into it, the guys who want to have like, who aren't so concerned about like catching fish per se, you know what I mean? I mean, yes, obviously everyone wants to catch fish, but like they want to do it in a certain way, use a certain technique, try different things. Those are kind of the people that we really like to work with, because it's just a lot of fun. And then to see the pictures or to hear the stories after the fact is really rewarding. It's cool.
Absolutely, man. I agree. And nowadays it's kind of like you go to some shops and you see things where like some shops are like strictly for the hardcore guy, and some are more lenient towards the beginners. But it's good to see a shop where it has everything, in a sense to where you don't have to buy an $800 combo. I got something for $100 or maybe $50 for you. So it's very good to see, some shop owners still appreciate the novice fisherman to the hardcore guy who's really gung ho. And I see your shop has a little bit of everything. You got, of course, the top brand, Shimano Pen, all that stuff. And, you still have the more economical priced things for the people who are still learning and stuff like that. And, it's great to see that. And I haven't had the pleasure of fishing in Long Island just quite yet. I mean, I'm not that far away. But a couple weeks ago, we had the LI Shark guy out here on this podcast. And, Chris he's got a lot going on out there with those big sharks, man. And it's like, for people who don't know, Long Island is the home of Montauk. And Montauk is probably one of the top fishing destinations on the East Coast. I mean, you guys get everything out there, from big stripers to big porgies to albies. It's just such a rich area for fishing. And, to have a shop in that location that can attend to everybody's needs is awesome. And when did you guys open up the doors?
Well, my dad's been in this business forever. He's actually just turned 91, and he started off in He actually worked at Herman's, which is an old chain. This was like pre-Dick's. This was like the first 500 store chain, and he was the original buyer. Worked on 42nd Street in Manhattan, and first Daiwa reels to come in the country. All that kind of stuff. He helped sort of pioneer that, and did a lot of different things from wholesale to manufacturing to eventually ending up in retail, sort of in the early 90s. And it's been like that since then. And then when I came on, I did develop the online stuff, started doing all the social media, the YouTube videos, which most people know me for, and just sort of took it in a different direction. But he had already established such a wonderful base, or such a strong base with. I remember all stories of all kinds of like different sales. Back then they're doing magazine ads, newspaper ads, Long Island Fisherman stuff, and doing like $10 sales. So like 3 bucktails for $10, 5 of this for $10, and it was just like boxes, like 12 boxes on a page, and then just seeing like this swarm of people coming through the door just for these specific things in like such a crazy way. And then obviously sort of magazines and periodicals sort of dropped off, so we had to do something and switched over to Instagram really blew up for us, and obviously the YouTube as well, and just reaching that new generation of anglers who, like I said, want to have a good fishing experience, who really enjoy the sport and are passionate about the sport in a way that's not just meat hunting, right?
Absolutely.
So that's a really cool thing to see. And now you throw in like the conservation portion of it, and you just got a really cool environment, where guys can come, be comfortable, have a fun time at the shop, and just like be one of the guys or one of the family. It's pretty cool. It's a good environment, and you're talking about Montauk. Like Montauk is one of those, for most people, that once in a lifetime type of trip. There's like that. There's Venice, Louisiana. Maybe you want to do something out of San Diego. You want to do a long range trip. Tropic Star Lodge in Panama or Costa Rica, one of those type of things. Like these are all for most people like a one-time thing. You're going to do a trip and you're going to experience it, and hopefully that experience is going to be fruitful for you. So Montauk is a very special place, and you can sort of see it in Fishaholic videos and John Skinner videos and that kind of stuff. Surfcaster's Journal does a lot of stuff out there, which is great. And if you've never been to Montauk, but you're a passionate fisherman, it should be on your list of places to visit.
Yeah, man. You were going down that list of places, destinations. I was like, man, that's 1 bucket list, 2 bucket list, 3 bucket list for me. I mean, you nailed it on the spot. But Josh, you saying that your dad was one of the first retailers for Daiwa. That's my dad's probably sitting there watching this video like, yeah, that's my guy, because my dad is a diehard Daiwa guy.
Oh, that's great.
I mean,
that's cool.
From the early 90s, the late 80s and stuff, he's got all those black and gold series. He still has all of them. They're all in great condition. And Daiwa makes a hell of a reel. No disrespect to any manufacturer out there. I'm just more partial to the Shimano. I love my Shimano Stratex. That's my favorite thing to use, man. And, to hear something like that, to like your dad was being one of the first people to bring some of this stuff from overseas in here, and people loving it. I have a Daiwa Saltis too, and that's some pretty great stuff to hear.
I mean, he tells a story all the time of the first spinning reel was like $3.
Yeah.
No, it was like $3, $4, and $5. It was 3 different models or something like that. But we're talking 70 years ago or something like that. Somewhere in that neighborhood, and probably late 50s, maybe early 60s, something like that, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. It's sort of like the historical portion of the industry, and it's great to hear those stories and have some connection to it. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely, I agree, man. And I wish reels were still $3. I mean, my basement now, as it sits, looks like a Bass Pro Shops in itself, or a tackle shop, if you would. But stuff has gotten pricey, and like they say, fishing is the most expensive way to get yourself a free meal.
Sure, yeah.
And but yeah, man, I mean, we talked about the shop. It's a great shop. You do a lot of online things. You service pretty much all over the country and around the globe, which is great. And what I like about your Instagram is you're one of those people who rewards their followers. You do a lot of giveaways and stuff like that. Yeah. I know you have one going on right now. And what is it? A striper pack with some plugs and stuff?
Yeah, it's actually reminiscent of our first giveaway. I got to give props to my coworkers who, this was like when we started off Instagram. I don't know what it's been, 5 years ago or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
and I have a couple of coworkers who were like, what you should do, you should give something away. And I was like, well, what should I give away? And they're big fans of diesel trucks. Like that's just what they were. Aside from fishing, they're big fans of diesel trucks. And there's this company that does, they like pimp out a diesel truck, right? And then
Yeah.
what they'll do is they'll say, okay, if you buy a hat, we'll give you 5 entries. If you buy a T-shirt, we'll give you 10 entries. If you buy a hoodie, we'll give you 20 entries or whatever, right, of their branded merch, right?
Absolutely.
And then when they get to a certain amount of sales, they'll give away the truck to someone. Okay, cool. Well, I'm a little tackle shop. I can't give away this, $100,000 truck or $100,000 boat. So let's start off with something simple. And Super Strike was actually the first thing because some fishing tackle just has a cult following to it. It's not like everything's the same. And that brand was, for me, it was low risk. It was okay. 2 Super Strikes on Facebook, two super strikes on Instagram, see if we can get some more follows, see what happens. And it got over 100,000 views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the interactions were just like crazy for what we were doing, our level of things. And it just progressed from there to just different kinds of things. And eventually it just got to the point where we're giving away stuff like Van Stalls and Avits and, Penn, whatever, it didn't matter. And nowadays it's really like, what should I give away? I talk to the guys, what should I give away? And they're like, I don't know. It's this season. So let's do this. Let's do that. And we just did that Mahi Accurate slow pitching reel, which is really, really cool. It's like a $600 or $700 reel. And now we went back to basics. We're giving away some Super Strikes, and a lot of it is just, community based. You want to build get more people on Instagram following us, interacting with us, and hopefully that'll lead to more customers. But it's just a cool way, and people appreciate it, and they have fun with it, and
I mean, I really hope that people are paying attention to this. You guys are hearing these, giving away $700, $900 reels. I mean, if you're not following J&H Tackle, you guys need to hop on Instagram right now and go follow J&H Tackle, man. But it's really good to hear that. I mean, the interaction that you have with the customers and taking advice and listening to what they want to see more of. And I see pictures of the shop online, and it is packed to the gills with pretty much everything you need. And definitely a place I would visit if I was in the area. That's for sure. So we talked about the shop. So now we got to talk about fishing. You are on the podcast, Angler Talk. So, what is the type of fishing that Josh likes to do? What do you like to target, and how do you like to target them?
Well, I'll tell you my story. So, because my story is a little bit different from everybody else in the industry, which was when I was a kid. One weekend day belonged to my dad, meaning he had a boat out in Southold, which is like, like an hour away from Montauk, let's say. This is on the North Fork, and I would have to go with him, or I'd go fishing with him every single weekend. This is like an hour and a half from my house, right? So imagine being a kid, your dad wakes you up early in the morning, you got to go in the car, you drive an hour and a half, right? When you just want to hang out with your friends, you want to play Mario Brothers, you want to go play basketball, whatever. You drive out an hour and a half, you go fishing, and the fishing part is a lot of fun. And then you finish up at, like, let's say 2 p.m. when the sun is at its peak, and he makes you clean the boat with him, which of course, you should do that. I'm not saying that was the wrong thing, but it was like, and then you drove home an hour and a half, and it was like every single weekend for my entire childhood. Right. So, I sort of got burned out on the grind of it. And then when I went to college and eventually got a job, I was doing more TV and media and that kind of stuff. And, what I would do with my dad now is the fishing. Most of the fishing that I do is these trips, for my dad. Like I said, my dad is 91, so he wanted to go on some of these trips. So we went to Venice, Louisiana, and we spent a week, fishing the swamps down there for redfish, which was a great trip.
That's
and
awesome.
Went to New Orleans, and then Daiwa invited us out to West Palm. We went to West Palm for a couple of days to fish there, which was really fun. He wanted to go to Tropic Star Lodge. I took him to Tropic Star Lodge twice, actually. So he'd been to Panama twice and done that, and got, our butts kicked by, amberjack after amberjack after amberjack, right? And jacks, this kind of stuff. And so those are mostly the fishing that I do now, because I'm just really focused on building the business. We started a second brand called Dark Matter, which is manufacturing rods and lures and that kind of stuff, and
That's
trying
awesome.
to get that out to everybody. So, and then I have 2 daughters and a wife and stuff. So, spend a lot of time with family and do a lot of work. I probably work more than I should. And then,
Yeah.
the fishing tends to be, trips for my dad and that kind of stuff. So,
I hear you, man.
so yeah.
And I'm in the same boat with you. When you're a kid and you're getting woken up at 5 o'clock in the morning, at that moment you just want to say something, but you can't because you might
Yeah,
get a
sure.
backhand across the head. But
Sure. Yeah.
those are the moments that the older that we get, those are the ones that we cherish the most. And for you going fishing with your dad like that, that's awesome. And I'm pretty sure that's something he loves, and it's just a great thing, man. So what is your favorite species to target?
As silly as it seems, I always had so much fun porgy fishing,
Yeah.
because it was like one of those things where it was dead, and then a switch turned on, and for a half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever it was pure ecstasy because it was nonstop. It was just
Yeah, one after another.
nonstop action. And he would defer to me, and he would just constantly rebait. You have two setups, drop down, got one. He'd take it off, rebait, next one, next. And you would just do this for half hour for whatever the run was, and it was just a lot of fun. So I always encourage people to do that. I always had fun black fishing. Like I said, it was a bit more challenging than porgy fishing, obviously. I think everybody likes fluke fishing,
Yeah.
and then just going on these trips. It's fun more for me to try different techniques, do the vertical jigging, the pumping and all this kind of stuff, and wear yourself out. And I like it all. It's fun. The guys joke with me at work that I don't fish enough, or they fish more than me, and they absolutely do. But I'm still pretty good at it, and I do enjoy it. And that's want to share that with others. So having those experiences is a great way to bring it to the attention of other people. A lot of people maybe would never have heard of going to Panama. Like, that seems crazy to probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the hardcore guys, that's like, yeah, let's go today, right? You know what I mean?
That's a
That kind of
destination.
thing.
Yeah.
So trying these different things. The Venice trip, bone fishing in the Bahamas is a wonderful trip, and a different kind of experience than anything we would have up here in the Northeast. Sight fishing, which is, a lot of guys, they never do it. They're not down there. They're not in, the Keys or we went to Abaco and that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I like. I do like these trips, and I like the adventure portion of it, or the difference of it. I think, like I watch the YouTubers and they catch fluke after fluke after fluke, or striped bass after striped bass after striped bass. At some point you go like, okay, we should probably try something different, and hopefully they get the opportunity to do that. And so that's sort of me. I'm different probably than most people in that regard.
But in all honesty, I agree with you, man. I mean, like you touched on about the YouTubers, you got this one guy who's making video after video after video after video. It's just fluke fishing, or it's just striper fishing, or like big majority of the niche on fishing in YouTube, it's bass, and it's always the same thing. Cast, bass, cast, bass. It's just like, why don't you guys try to expand and try to do something a little bit different? Like you mentioned bonefish fishing, and that is always something that I personally wanted to do. I'm not sure if you know who Joe Cermelli is. He's a fishing editor. He used to be a fishing editor over at Field and Street Magazine. He had a show called Hook Shots. And I'll never forget that he went to the Bahamas Flats and he's catching bonefish. And I'm like, man, that's something really, really cool that I would love to give it a shot. But also you touched on the fact that you don't get to fish as much as, some of your coworkers. But I don't think, like, a lot of people think that when you get into this industry, it's all about fishing. Like when you become a charter captain, they're like, oh, you're lucky you get to fish every day. No, we're really not, buddy. We're not fishing at all. We're looking, we're watching, we're retying, we're pulling out snags and doing all this. And when you're in the shop, I had a little stint working in a tackle shop in Florida, and they don't understand. I don't think anybody understands what it takes to run a tackle shop. You got to worry about the live bait and then the suppliers. And I know when COVID hit, it really screwed up a lot of tackle shops. I know Shimano was really, really hard to get products out there.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So they don't understand the grind. I mean, you're opening the doors at what time in the morning?
7 or 8, depending on the time of year, and then we're staying open till 7 at night. I mean, it used to be longer. I mean, we used to open at 6, and with the pandemic, it just changed it because it was like, it's you got to weigh like the value of that hour, paying employees, electricity, whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's like a restaurant, right? Because I think the restaurant industry is probably the hardest thing because it's like you have to replicate what you do the same every single day. It's the only way that you can really be great at a restaurant, right? As much as people knock on whatever places, right? Like consistency is so challenging, right? In a tackle shop, you sort of have to do that, but not to that level, right? You've just got to have people who know what they're talking about. Always, have people to be there for those hours and be helpful and then achieve whatever tasks you need to achieve. So it's a grind. It's definitely a grind.
Absolutely.
The pandemic was absolutely nuts. I mean, we just like blew up. I mean, it was like, me and one other guy in the back for the first couple of weeks of it. And we didn't know if they were going to close the waterways or whatever. And then I think we got one more guy back and St. Patrick's Day hit. And it was just like to the moon, like I had to stop people calling. We wouldn't do phone calls. It was like it was the most insane portion of my career in the tackle industry, in that it was like instantly everybody wanted to go fishing, and their mother, like everybody, now found this sport as like fishing and bicycles, right? And like you're just trying to like give the normal level of customer service, and guys are like, "Yeah, I want to know what my order is," and I was like, "I can't give you an order status over the phone." Well, F you, man. I got cursed out more during the pandemic than ever in my life. But it was like, either you want me to eat, it's only a couple of, we can't have people here. So either you want us to ship or you want us to answer where your order is and your order doesn't ship. Like, you kind of got to pick one and be realistic about it and understand, like, in the past we would ship things the next day. Now it's taking 4 days because limited number of people, expanded number of orders, and it's just crazy. So
and not to cut you off, but I remember a video you posted. I'm not sure if it was a video or a story on Instagram. You were like, guys, please just try to bear with me. I'm getting orders out as fast as I can.
Chill out. Just chill.
And a lot of people, they're just like, oh, I don't care about your other orders. Get my stuff. But they don't understand that, there's a line. It's first come, first serve. And just people are they feel so what's the word, entitled, that they have to come first, and they don't understand that this poor man is running around the shop like a headless chicken getting these orders out. And guys like me who will fish 300 days a year, got to appreciate somebody like you and all the work that you do for us to keep us up to date with, the new reels, the new lures, what's the new technique, what's the perfect bait, what's a good spot. And I don't like a lot of people. I think tackle shop owners are probably some of the most underappreciated people in this entire industry. I mean, what's the first place we stop at on the way fishing? We stop at the tackle shop. And what do we get? We get everything we need. Hey, what's hitting? Do you know where they're hitting? And guess who's the guy who's giving us all that information? Guys like you. So, don't think that not everybody appreciates what you do, because for me, for sure, I definitely appreciate 100% what you do, man.
I appreciate it. I think the hardest thing about working at or owning a tackle shop or working in a tackle shop is very simply that the rest of the industry does not do communication very well. They just don't tell you what's going on, right? So, we have a situation now, just as an example, of product shortages because of supply chains are broken across the world, right? I mean, pretty easy to understand, but guys still want to know what's up. Where's this product? And I'm not going to pick a manufacturer, but you could pick any of them because it happens to all of them and for different reasons. And it's not like they're coming to me and saying like, hey, Josh, I just want to let you know there's been a delay in product X. We know it's hot and it's going to be another 2 months, right? Yeah. They're not proactively telling me that, right? And then we multiply that by however many products are delayed, right? Which is in the hundreds, let's just say, right? It's probably more than that. But I mean, of key stuff that you would sell on a daily basis that people would ask you about a lot. Especially some of the more I call them cult items. You know what I mean? It could be like, not to name brands, but I mean cult brands would be like Avid, Accurate, Van Staal, Super Strike is one of them. Some Shimano stuff, some Penn stuff, right? Like, so you can sort of pick from the list, right? Of like what's going on, what's hot, and there's no one telling me, and maybe I'm even asking. Generally I'm asking like, hey, what's up with X product, and then I just don't hear back. Yeah. Right. But you as the consumer, you don't see that, and it's not your responsibility to see that. But I'm taking, like during the pandemic, I'm taking the brunt of all the customer service woes for all the manufacturers, because you're not going to call up Penn or Shimano to say, hey, where's my J&H order, right? Like, you're not going to call them and be like, hey, I ordered a Stella. Where is it? I ordered it 4 months ago. They're not even going to answer, right? So you're going to yell at me and say, well, what do you mean? Why don't you know where it is? And I go, because they don't tell me. And that's not really a satisfactory answer. I feel bad giving that answer, but it's just the facts of the game. And I'm sure this happens in other industries. So it's not just.
Oh, absolutely, fiction. Man. I mean,
that's the weakness. That's the weak spot.
For the people that do know, and for the people that don't know, I used to work for Chrysler Manufacturing Corporation in the auto industry. And, Chrysler, it's really, really hard to get parts. Sure. I myself, I drive a Jeep. I've needed an air conditioning housing unit on my car all year. I have no air conditioning, and I can't get it. It's on back order. That's right. And I don't even call the dealer to ask, like, hey, is it in yet? You know what I'm saying? Because I know how hard it is to get. And the only thing they're going to tell me is, you know what, Chrysler switched the date. It's supposed to come in August 13th. Now it's going to come in October 17th. So it's just, and people don't understand that. And, it's a crazy world we live in, where people just want it so fast and they don't care who it is to blame. They're just going to yell at the person right in front of them. Right. That's not right. Definitely.
The metal gate for our door at the store. Fortunately, we have 2 front doors, but it just it stopped working. Right. There's a problem with it, and unless it works, probably you can't use it because it's like spring loaded. And it's like thousands of pounds, and if it comes out, it hits you. So it wasn't working. So we called the repair person, and he's like, yeah, you need a new spring. We're like, okay, cool. Can you install it? He's like, oh, we don't have any. It's going to be at least 3 weeks. Oh, so Jesus. 3 weeks without a door. Like, we had to just leave the gate down, lock that door. And that's the door that most people are used to coming in to the store. So all of a sudden it was like, a big sign saying, no, use that door. But it took 3 weeks to get literally just a spring for a gate.
Absolutely.
So if crazy. That part is hard to get, I mean, imagine everything else in the world, right?
Absolutely, man. I agree, man. So for the people who are listening and watching, let them know how they can find J&H Tackle, website, Instagram, and I will definitely leave some links in the description down below.
Yeah, I'm not that hard to find. It's at J&H Tackle, spelled out on basically every social media, JANDHTACKLE. Instagram is probably the prime place. That's usually where we do the most stuff. And second is TikTok. We have a big following on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, follow us there. And then the website is jnh.com. Again, super easy to find you. And if you ever need anything, you have questions about fishing, tackle, all that kind of stuff, I'm the guy to reach out to, and just shoot me a DM through Instagram, and I'll be happy to help you out.
Then I follow Josh, and it's a daily upload every single day. New products, description on the products, weekly, sometimes monthly giveaways that you do, man. So guys, take advantage and go check Josh out. And I want to thank you for your time, brother. I appreciate you taking the time
thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Well, that was great talking to Josh over at J&H Tackle, man. Really good dude. Puts out phenomenal content on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And the shop, man, it's one of those great places where it's got that family inviting feeling, but it has everything you need for the hardcore guy, even to the most novice. And definitely go check Josh out over at J&H Tackle in Long Island if you're in the area, or you can always check out his online store and the website. And he's packed with a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty sure you'll find something you need or want in his store or online. So once again, I want to thank Josh for taking the time to come out and talk with us, and get out there, bend some rods, tight lines, guys. I'm out. Peace.